Hello, Facebook.
Hello.
Hello.
We've all joined you this evening to say hello,
Hello.
Governor.
Oh, God, nah.
Still not showing up on my Facebook here.
Yeah.
It's taking too long. Oh, here it comes.
Is that it?
Hello.
There it is, movie edition.
Is this it?
Boy, I tell you what, we are live on Facebook.
Look at her. My sound was already down.
Mine
Good
was,
job.
and I cut it up for Bradley to hear that song,
You messed it up.
and I screwed it all up.
Oh, that is the funny.
I'm going to do some emotion flurry, and then
Immersion flurry.
I'm going to disperse this amongst my friends collectively.
Collectively. I'm doing right meow.
Win?
Meow.
Yeah.
Meow. What's up, Snake?
Who's
Jason
phone?
King?
Bradley.
Hello, Poppy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that'd be more like, hey, Poppy.
Hello,
You're
Poppy.
Hey,
six.
Poppy.
No, I said hello.
Hello.
The little caterpillar looking thing.
Okay.
Labyrinth.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I said hello.
I said hello.
You know what's funny? You guys do the British accent, and y'all know I'm a big theater nerd, and every once in a while I'll be in a play. Theater people, they love doing the British accent. You'll be backstage. Guaranteed, if you ever take your kid to see a play, you go to a play,
Yeah.
backstage, or 99% of people are walking around dropping the British accent. They're just talking it all the time. I've not figured that out. I guess
Maybe
it's
they're
just,
British.
I guess just one of those things. They just love the British accent.
What if they're British and they're just putting on an accent when they're on stage on an American accent?
No, because I know a lot. I know most of the folks involved in the MAC.
Well,
and
it'd
they
be a
ain't
lot
British.
cooler if they were British.
I'll tell you what's weird when you go to a, like the Renaissance Festival. And everybody's, well, of course, they're in character. And they're walking around in their little uniforms, their little costumes. And they're having a conversation like they're in medieval times. Are they coming over on the morrow?
I like it. Was it?
What?
When Spartacus was popular on the Showtime, Cody and I used to walk around talking like that.
Was it role models? Paul Rudd and then
Yes.
they go to the
Yes.
Renaissance Festival, or not Renaissance Festival.
Well, yeah, it was a World of Warcraft-ish kind of game,
And they all dressed up.
but
and
it
they
was
talked,
live action.
They talked in the accents. The whole scene where they're in the that version of McDonald's, Burger King, and they're still back pretending like the old Kim Jong is all dressed up.
Travis,
Yo,
Bo Burchell wrote, I can't place that movie. I remember it though.
Labyrinth?
Wait, time out. I want to dissect this.
Okay.
He can't place it, but he remembers it. Now, which is it? You can't do both. That is a contradictory statement. That's like the definition of what an oxymoron would be.
He's gonna do more on it.
Well, more or less, Bo Burchell. I can't place that movie, but I remember it.
Forget, I'm just dispersing this amongst people that I don't know.
Hey, Murray's watching. He likes movies. And
Oh,
he gives us a
Murray.
kiss.
He blew
And
his
Hector is a really big
kisses.
fan of this show.
He is.
And I dig Hector.
I like it.
Hector's a cool guy.
It's a cool
Murray, I
kid.
wish you were here talking movies with Bradley and I. And Travis and Lady A. Mind Controls.
I bet if we asked Murray to come do a show, he would.
Hit the sound wave button. Built-in microphone. What do we do when it says built-in microphone?
We reset it.
No. Okay. Unplug.
And Andrew, I'm sharing this on all the ones you normally share. That.
Audio. Forgot about that.
So we're gonna talk some iconic movie roles tonight, guys. So y'all get ready. I'm fired up. It's Bradley's idea for this show. He always has good ideas. Him and Tooth always had the better ideas.
We're not sharing one mic anymore, are we?
Well, I wouldn't say
y'all
I
are-
always
y'all
have
are
good
better now.
ideas.
We're not what, Tooth?
We're not sharing one mic anymore, are we?
No.
We were for a minute.
Yeah, that's my
It
bad.
was happening for a minute,
Oh,
and
no.
it's not anymore.
No, we good. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, Lady A and Bull. Good Lord, how many groups am I a part of?
I don't know, but
Whole
man, you
bunch.
got to finish it later. We got to get
Oh, I
started.
gotta do it now. They get more views.
Okay.
Yes.
Good Lord, man. Do you get any work done at your job?
I don't know, but the 32 people watching could care less about what you're doing.
Well, I gotta get them on there.
But
I won't stop right there.
Shoo. You know, on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, folks are going at 7:30. Yeah, it'll be about 7:45 for I'm tuning in.
That's why we always say ish.
Well, that's what the ish is for.
Yeah, that's what it is. Y'all ready to do this?
Waiting on you, Travis, as per usual.
As per usual. All right, everybody, welcome to the
Next episode.
Other Everyday Joe Show. I'm your host, Lee Travis Reed. You might have heard of me before.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, girl.
People have heard of you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here we are, Studio 11, Tuesday night show, movie edition. All fired up about this one. It's going to be a dandy of a show.
I like movies.
You do, don't you?
Well, yes.
And that would be Tooth. How are you, sir?
Not so bad. How are you now?
Oh, not so bad. How are you now?
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
It reminds me of Canadian Letterkenny.
How are you now?
Not so bad.
Not so bad. And you? What you got in that Sonic cup, sir?
This is cherry Dr. Pepper.
What?
It's 24 flavors.
Wow.
They took the 23 and threw cherry on top of it.
You just blew everybody's mind.
So did Dr. Pepper when they did that.
God. How's that taste?
Travulous.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
What flavors you getting in that?
Man, they have really done a good job with the cherry.
Yeah?
So mainly the cherry.
You getting the cherry?
I'm getting a lot of the cherry.
Well, the cherry.
Cherry.
The cherry.
I like the cherry.
The cherry.
Hey, man, what are you having to drink tonight, Travis?
What are you doing here?
I'm just throwing you off your game.
Yeah.
You want to ask
What are we doing?
the next person that's here next.
I do. Brother Ramsey.
Oh,
Water.
Moving on.
I'm more interested in what y'all are drinking.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Glad to
man.
be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for giving us this topic, man. I like this topic.
I
topic.
just pulled that out of my butt while I was making supper. You text me when I got out of the shower, and then
whoa.
I started making supper. and
We'd already ended the FaceTime.
Okay, here's what I know. If he's pulling things out of his butt while making dinner, I'm not eating dinner at Bradley's house.
That's right.
That's all I know.
Especially after you got out of a shower.
I mean, why did he shower first and then start digging in his rumpus? I don't get it. What are you drinking tonight, Travis?
I preheat the oven, and it kills all the bacteria.
Still got the flavor, though.
That's right.
Is that why you preheat the oven?
Absolutely.
People that pick their bottles?
See, I read the instructions on things.
It
I
ain't
know
on
I
there.
have a lot of folks that are like, man, just throw it in there and turn it up. And it's like, I can't figure out why my pizza's burnt on the outside but
Because
cold in
that
the center.
heating element is on the whole time it's preheating.
It's like what you're supposed to do is read the instructions on the back.
Go to page 23.
Yeah, go to page 23. That's right. Amen.
The Cap Star book.
That's right. Page 23,
It'll answer
everyone.
most all of your problems.
It
right off the bat.
absolutely will.
So, Travis, really seriously though, on a serious note, what are you drinking?
Oh, hang on. I gotta get to the new producer.
shit,
I'm
Lady Ace
drinking
here.
blue.
Thanks for being here, Bradley.
Thanks for having
Yes, sir. And producer of the evening, Lady A, how are you?
Hey, I'm dandy-ish.
You are dandy-ish. You look like a snack-ish.
Thanks. I'm serious tonight.
Yeah, you serious in that?
Yeah, I'm still drinking though.
Oh, yeah.
She's seriously drinking.
What are you drinking?
A clamato.
Yes.
Ah, she's having the STD in a can.
She is having
Yes,
it.
that's
Yes.
so tasty.
And when she got the Clamato, six-pack Clamato out of the refrigerator, there was a little treat on top.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't anything in there.
Yes, it was. It was Reese's Christmas treat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She bought those like a week ago and forgot it was in there.
I don't think she knows what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Bull's not. He's going to be in and out tonight. So Lady A is going to be doing the producing and whatnot this evening. So-
Apologies in advance.
Yeah. So if anything screws up, it's Bull's fault.
Also,
As
correct.
per usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here and producing.
Yes.
Yes.
And if nothing goes wrong, in the words of Tom
Then it-
Cruise, that would mean that even a retarded monkey could do that job.
Also correct.
Hey,
Well, we have one now.
Travis,
Yeah.
that's a cool sound.
Yeah.
What are you having to drink?
Fine.
Just forget it, Travis. After all that, I mean, just forget it. Nobody
Oh,
cares.
that's good.
You do.
Oh man, you've been waiting on that.
I
haven't you?
was because I tried like 3 times early on purpose so I could really dig it in.
Yeah, you did good, man.
But no, really, what are you having to drink?
Fine Pilsner beer.
How do you know?
Says so on the can.
Prove it. Huh? Look at it.
Right yonder.
Huh? It's labeled a fine Pilsner
Yeah.
beer. Does it say anything else
That's
cool
a
on the
tall one.
can?
Right here above this little barley hop thing. Union made.
Huh. I'm curious to know what the flavors are going to come out of this brand new, freshly opened, crisp Miller Lite.
That tastes like free beer.
Hey, man, do you think they get free beer?
I know at the Coors plant they used to.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
That's a
I
perk.
didn't. At New Belgium, you do get a case of beer free every Friday. And this is free because Bo Burchell bought it for me last week.
Cool.
Thank you, Bo.
You know
What's
what?
up, Chad Ottinger?
You know what a 16-ounce beer says about you, don't you?
What's
You're 8 more ounces to being a full-blown alcoholic.
Okay, all right. So getting the leg up on the competition. That's what it is. All right, guys. Tonight we're doing iconic movie roles. Now I want to go around and ask everybody what that means to you. You know, because it's going to mean, I think it's going to mean different things for different folks. It may not. What do you think, Tooth? What
I
say
think
you?
primarily and I think Bradley put this best in his messages to us. I feel like if you hear of a certain actor or actress and you automatically go to one particular role that really stood out for them in their career, or, you know, something that was just blockbuster, over the top, huge, that can be kind of the correlation to an iconic role. It doesn't even have to be necessarily of the wide popularity to
What's
be
up,
an
Daryl?
iconic role. However, I do want to stipulate, I believe personally that there are certain actors and actresses that can have multiple iconic.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, as long as we
Yeah.
agree on
No
that.
doubt.
Yes,
No doubt.
absolutely.
What say you, Bradley?
Same. I think that my gauge is kind of, if I can say the character's name to my brother and he automatically knows who played that character, or if I say an actor's name to Nicholas, that dude from Pulp Fiction, or
I
yeah,
got
that guy in Tombstone, the guy in Tombstone.
That's that guy from Tombstone.
You've got an iconic role of someone like, you know, because we're all nerds. I mean,
Yeah.
that's everybody that's watched the show,
Absolutely.
listens to the show knows that. So again, you can say Keanu Reeves to me. I can tell you movies he was in when he was a teenager, but
Right.
say Keanu Reeves to most folks, they're going to go Neo in the Matrix, or the guy in the Matrix,
Yeah.
you know, and so that's like
Or
that's-
John Wick.
There you go.
Because a lot of people
John Wick,
today,
exactly.
like people of today's time, younger generation might
Right.
instantly go to John Wick.
You mean the guy from Bill and Ted's?
Yes.
And hey, for a certain generation,
Ted's.
that would be it.
Mine.
Yeah.
That and my favorite,
Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah. Utah. Give me two. That's my favorite role.
Lady A, what do you think? Iconic movie role. What's it mean to you? Same thing?
It's just the first thing that you think of when you think of that person.
So we're all in agreement on
Yeah.
that. Okay, that's me. I think it was associate an actress with a same thing. Just that put them on the map.
And it doesn't matter how far in the toilet their career is now. You'll always go, you know, but they were great in. And
Yeah.
because they had that one deal, at least for a year,
Yeah.
you know, they were awesome.
Right. I get that. I got that. Yeah, I think, and another thing, I put it this way, is a role that made the actor bigger. That a role that was actually bigger than the actor. They've become that. You know, maybe they didn't want to, but they have become that.
Well, a good example we talked about before the show is that if I say Anthony Perkins, does that even ring a bell to anybody? If I say Norman Bates, you know who Norman Bates is. Anthony Perkins played Norman Bates. He was in I just pulled up his IMDb page. He was in hundreds of movies, directed movies, nominated for an Oscar. Norman Bates. That's what he'll always be remembered for. And that would be. Sometimes it's the death knell of a career as well, because
True.
they get pigeonholed.
True,
Because
true.
I'm sure Anthony Perkins, if you look at, he was in westerns, he was in romantic movies. I'm sure he didn't want to be the horror guy forever. But again, though, Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates.
Very good. You say,
It's
oh, there it goes.
there it goes. Okay, like it didn't. do
Little
anything.
tech. What'd you do?
It was just a little glitch. It was resting. It's awake now.
That's
were
Facebook going.
saying
Bradley's talked enough. Move on.
It's something that made them bigger. And I wanted to add to that, and now I've lost it, but it doesn't matter. It is, I mean, I can agree with it, something that made them bigger.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's the same thing you guys are saying. It's just, to me, it made them bigger because that's how I associate them now. When I think of Norman Bates, I think of Anthony Perkins. So to me, that escalates him up there. I know who he is now. I'll pay attention if I see his name on a credit. Hey, Anthony Perkins, he was in Psycho. Let me check that out.
I was going to add, what I was going to add to that was, I think this is key as well. If it's nobody else could have, you know what I mean? When you
Right.
see the role and you've seen who else could have done that? Like, what other, when it's that kind of role? Because sometimes there are roles like, I bet that guy would have, they originally talked to so-and-so, and I bet he would have done a
And
good
you're going,
job
I
too.
can imagine.
But nobody else could have done that role. Like Jack Nicholson's Joker, in my opinion, is one of my...
Yeah, nobody else could have
Jack
done
Nicholson in any role. I mean, he's pretty good.
that. Yeah, him and that, there would be, nobody else could have pulled that Joker off.
The Shining. I mean, his character in The Shining.
Yeah, or even that movie.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Even that movie,
I'm sorry.
As good as it gets. Nobody could have done that
as
role.
ridiculous as that movie was,
I love that
he was
movie.
perfect.
A Few Good Men would not be
No,
the
sir.
movie that it is without his performance, which he was not in that movie that much. But the final 15 minutes,
You can't handle
I mean, that makes that movie. And he's not even the star. It's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise and Demi Moore are the stars of that movie.
And can I give Tom Cruise a shout out to his Jack Nicholson impression during the movie? Because he had
Yes.
It was pretty good.
Hell, very good. I eat my breakfast or whatever. I can't even do it.
So Bradley, we'll start off with you. Would you throw us off one that's iconic movie role in your opinion?
Probably where the idea even popped in my head was Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I mean, now Clint Eastwood has had an illustrious career,
We had this conversation at work today.
but you just drop Clint Eastwood to the labor. Now, there's nobody that won't go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just. I mean that
I hear that. I think Metallica's coming out.
that role is so iconic. The character he played wasn't even named. It's
Yeah.
just credited as the man with no name.
It had like 7 lines.
Yeah. But that right there, I mean, when you say Clint Eastwood, and again, I love Clint Eastwood. He has
Absolutely.
been in, but the second someone says his name, I immediately see the poster of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is Clint Eastwood to me. And
The guys at work, younger kid, he's 20. He'll be 21 in, I think, March or something like that. Anyway, he said, what about Clint Eastwood? Because he saw my list I had written down. He said, what about Clint Eastwood? I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm sure he'll come up tonight. I said, we've already had a discussion about him. He said, yeah, man, Gran Torino. And I was like, wow. I mean, it's not this kid's fault. He's only 20.
right.
So he has it, and he knows a lot of older music and stuff like that, and older movies and older ball players too. You know, we talk about old stuff, but that's what he knew. Clint Eastwood. It was a great role. You know,
And think about how old that movie is at this point.
Yeah. yeah.
And I would argue that just to go ahead and dive in, you said some actors have more than one. Dirty Harry. Those are two.
That was my second one. I said to
Now
him.
he's done a lot of other stuff. Dirty
Josie.
Harry and the Man with No Name.
Josie Wales.
Yep, there you
I
go.
think. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Kidd.
You better be careful because Steve Lynn listening. You don't say Josie Wells, he'll probably cut you.
Josie Wales, Joe Kidd, hell, High Plains Drifter. You pick one. Pick one.
Yep, I agree. I 100%.
And if it wasn't for Stephen Lynn, I probably wouldn't have seen any of those, but I've seen them.
You have seen them, Lady A. What do you think? What you got?
Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
There you go.
Yeah, that's an excellent choice.
I would absolutely say that is an iconic role.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you mention the name, my thought process goes to that dress, him clapping the jewelry box
Yeah,
on her hand,
and
and
then
her
her
laughing, which was
Was not scripted,
not scripted.
Yeah.
just for the record. I also go straight to Shelby. Still
Oh,
Magnolias.
yeah. Man.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me
Those
cry.
are my
That's why I don't.
first two, and then after that, I go to the Ocean's movies.
Yeah, I can't. I go to Aaron Brockovich.
Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, well,
that's a good one.
I'm with
Shelby.
you on that, though.
it's a good one.
Shelby,
Pretty
it makes
Woman
me
will
cry.
That'll be the role
Shelby,
she's
though.
always remembered
Yes.
for.
But that was Sonia Toomey Saunders, Bridges of Madison County. Clint Eastwood was awesome in that.
Absolutely.
That's a girl.
So was Brad Pitt,
yeah, man.
and that was an early role for Brad.
Unforgiven, Chad Ottinger. Yeah, he was great. And I forgot about that.
Gene Hackman was great.
Gene Hackman was.
That-
Yes.
Okay, so when it gets to me, I know what mine's going to be.
Good pick, lady.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Like high five.
Look, she's producing and participating and drinking.
She's multitasking.
Exactly, I am.
Multitasker.
Don't ask her to
No one
spell
accused her
anything.
of
We're
being lazy.
winning.
I don't need to spell nothing. I got Google. As long as I get it close, or Alexa can tell me.
My first one, it's an easy one, but Al Pacino, Scarface.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, he was in a bunch of stuff before then, some good stuff. But Scarface, when you think of Scarface, you think of Al Pacino. 100%. Say hello to my little friend. How many times have people quoted that when they have a little piece of paper? Say hello to my little friend, or a little other thing. Say hello to my little friend. That's just an iconic role. It's an iconic movie.
It's on T-shirts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's on.
So definitely Al Pacino, Scarface.
I would have to go with that. That's a good answer, Travis.
Thank you.
A lot of because I was prepared for the debate between that and Godfather, but I was already ready to lean forward and make my argument for Scarface and Tony Montoya.
He was really good in
That was
in
Tony
Godfather.
Montoya.
But I think
That made him, but that wasn't. That's not the movie's iconic, but that character's not really.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Matt, speaking of 100%, Matt McCarthy, highly recommend The Outpost on Netflix, a tribute to my generation of soldiers who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. We'll be adding that to the list there, Mr. McCarthy. Thank you for that recommendation.
Yes.
All right, Tooth, Gene Hackman, Unforgiven. All right, Brad.
All right, my original answer was going to be, yeah,
Yeah. 100%.
100%. My original answer was going to be Val Kilmer's Wyatt, or in Tombstone,
Doc Holliday.
where he did Doc Holliday. I really, really like his. But then I was going to bring up the Wyatt Earp movie where,
Dennis Quaid,
thank you, also did a really good job. However,
comma.
I do believe that Doc Holliday from Tombstone is a better character. And I do believe that I don't think anybody else could have done what Val Kilmer did with that character. And I love that. But then you guys were all like Gene Hackman, and I forgot just how much I love Gene Hackman. And I don't know that I can think right this second of an iconic role, because he plays kind of the same role in a lot of the movies that he was in.
A lot of movie nerds, and it's like, and then again, my dad would go with Popeye Doyle and the French Connection. That's like, anytime I bring up Gene Hackman, a lot of folks, like, especially when you're listening to movies, best role is French Connection, that role. But no, I'm not saying that's
I
his
like
most
his role in
iconic.
Heist. Have you ever seen Heist?
Yes.
A lot of people haven't. But I think his role is amazing.
I don't think it's an iconic role, but it's an iconic movie. Hoosiers is a coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor and Superman,
Absolutely.
which is a total different role than the coach of Hoosiers.
Mm-hmm.
That,
But when I think of Gene Hackman, that's the first thing I think of is Lex Luthor from Superman.
I do too, because that was
From my era.
your era.
My era.
Can't you put an aura on that?
My era.
Yeah. Good answer. Gene Hackman, and he's retired now. He's like writing novels
Yeah.
or something. He don't even act anymore.
But
Yep.
like I said,
Consciously made that, because he's one of those guys. He was never faded. I mean, Enemy of the State. He was awesome in that.
The Firm,
Royal Tenenbaums.
the Royal Tannenbaums, that was a great one. Yeah, I don't know. I like Hackman. The
Say
Unforgiven.
when.
But no, my original answer, I'm going to stick with that. Val Kilmer.
Oh yeah,
I think that's an iconic role for Val Kilmer.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And much more memorable than his Batman.
Yeah, I think that was like the beginning of the end, or the decline, not the end.
Dustin Murray says Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter.
I would agree.
Oh, yes.
Which
Oh,
he had-
absolutely.
And he had done a ton of stuff before.
And since then,
Good stuff.
since then as
When
well.
I think of
Right.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, that's what I think.
Well, again, you can drop that name and just a group of people that are, familiar with pop culture, but not dorks like us. They're immediately going to say Hannibal Lecter. I mean, that's, that made him. And I was getting into my nerddom at the time. And after seeing Silence of the Lambs, I was like, this Anthony Hopkins dude is awesome. Then I realized this dude's been around forever.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, this is not a new dude.
I'll get to that here in a few minutes there, Patrick. Promise you. Pineapple. Hector, he says John Dunbar, Kevin Costner, Dancing with Wolves.
There you go.
It's when I think Kevin Costner,
That's an iconic movie for Costner.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
It set him up as an actor and a director.
Definitely don't think of Waterworld.
No.
I think Bull Durham. That's the first movie I remember seeing him in when I was a kid. Was Bull Durham, and well, now it's
I always thought
Yellowstone.
I always thought of Robin Hood, and Dances with Wolves because my grandfather loved it.
Oh, it's a kid. That's a great
But
movie.
my favorite Kevin Costner character outside of Bull Durham is Draft Day and Mr. Brooks.
I like
think
that movie.
Mr.
Brooks is awesome.
Shows the chops the man's got. That it's a good role.
Aaron Murray,
Field of
I was just fixing to say that before we went to Bradley. Field of Dreams. That's another one.
Yep.
Because I remember
Roy.
because my stepmom at the time, she's a big Kevin. She loved Kevin Costner. So it was Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and then Dancing with Wolves. We all watched them at the house, with my dad and my stepmom. And so that's what I remembered him as. But Bull Durham was always first, and then Field of Dreams. And I was just enamored with that movie. Like, this is, God, if that was real, that would be awesome, So good choice, though, Aaron, for sure. Bradley, who else you got, my man?
Man, I kind of batted this one around, but I was trying to decide between two. But I mean, there's no doubt Sylvester Stallone is Rocky. I mean, they built a statue in Philadelphia. That ain't even a real character. Rocky doesn't exist. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You just throw out Sylvester Stallone's name or throw out Rocky's name.
What's up, Sheffield?
Everyone knows Rocky. Everyone sees that poster, him. I mean, everyone, they start humming the song.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That Sylvester Stallone is not, I mean, the first Rambo movie was really good.
Absolutely.
But I mean, most folks would argue the rest of those movies, you look at Rotten Tomatoes, weren't great movies. He's not done a lot of great movies. But Rocky, he could
I
write.
would say I agree with what you just said, but as far as just people correlating, I would say Rocky and Rambo almost equivalent as far as just a person.
The first one.
If we just went out and started asking people, hey, Sylvester Stallone, what do you think of? I bet we'd have just as many say Rocky and just as many say Rambo.
I leaned a little harder into the Rocky, just like I said, simply for just
I'm with you on
that.
it.
But because I was batting around Rambo too, I was like, golly, but I was.
But the Rambo movies did stink.
They're awful.
The first one was good.
That's a good, but I think for us, the Rambo movies are more. It's a generational thing because they don't really hold up, and you don't hear a lot of people talking about going back and man, I just discovered Rambo. But Rocky's one of those, and all of the Rocky movies that kids today they're catching the marathons and going,
because of Creed coming out,
Yeah.
Creed 2.
And that's just again how iconic that character is. They literally started a whole new franchise.
Yeah.
Where he's not even boxing, but that name, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, training a boxer. I mean, that's just
And
it lives on.
The original Rocky came out, 76, 77?
I think the year I was born, I think 76 is correct, and I'm not positive on that.
And did it not get nominated for screenplay or
It not got- yes.
or picture or was it screenplay?
It was I think best original screenplay. I think it was also nominated for best picture.
Really?
I want to say.
That was a killer movie.
And a lot of folks were upset that he didn't win best supporting actor for Creed.
really.
Yeah, because he was a shoe-in. A lot of people thought when he didn't win, there was a lot. I remember Michael Rappaport. He threw a fit. He was basically his whole podcast after that was just him cussing for 45 minutes. They did not give him the Oscar.
Let me get a couple.
Chad Odinger's.
Yeah, well, I gotta get a couple before him so they don't get lost up here. Jennifer Griffin, Untouchables. That was a killer movie.
Oh yeah, that's what we figure. Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I mean Bond
James
is
Bond.
Yeah, it's James Bond, but that's the only movie he won an Oscar, nominated and won an Oscar for.
Yeah. Jennifer Griffin, Rhinestone, Sylvester Stallone, Dolly Parton.
Good movie. I mean, I think
It's not an iconic character, but that's a great movie.
I think it's a fun movie. It sucks. It's not a very
No.
good movie, but it's one of those that's fun. For memories, I enjoy watching.
Yeah. Wes Boone went back. Uncommon Valor.
Gene Hackman. Yeah, there you go.
Chad Ottinger, like Toots going to say, Harrison Ford. Do we go Indiana Jones or we go Han Solo?
I go Jack Ryan.
You go Jack Ryan?
I go Jack Ryan. He was Jack Ryan in a couple of the Let me get.
But
back.
his most iconic role, you're going to put Jack Ryan above Han Solo and
Yeah,
Indiana
'cause I can't
Jones.
stand Han Solo.
I'm going on Solo.
That is his most iconic role,
Yeah, which
hands
he
down,
despises.
and he despises that.
Yeah.
But I also do. I go Han Solo.
Han Solo. I mean,
I love Indiana Jones though, and I liked a lot of the Indiana Jones movies. I remember watching them with my dad.
yeah. They're great movies. That's no doubt about it.
I've really enjoyed the one with Sean Connery.
Oh, yeah, The Last Crusade.
The
I
Last
dig that one.
Crusade.
Last
Now, I
Crusade.
didn't care much for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That one was a
That
little.
one was kind of
I
lame.
didn't
but
watch that
Temple of Doom.
Temple of
I
Doom
mean,
was my jam.
But I think that when it's all said and done, again, we're talking iconic, like generational. I mean, my son knows who Harrison Ford is because of Han Solo. If he sees Harrison Ford in anything, he goes, "It's Han Solo."
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, my son's seen all the Indiana Jones movies,
Right.
but he'll still Han Solo. That's Han Solo.
That's his. Yeah, and he hates it. But now he's made a great career and didn't get typecast, if you will.
Oh, The Fugitive,
Absolutely.
great. I mean, he's been in some great movies and done a good job in some great movies.
Lee Jones.
Yeah, Witness.
We're gonna be able to do this
Great
all
movie.
night.
Yeah, this might be the
I thought
longest
Regarding
episode.
Henry was an excellent movie.
Great movie.
Harrison Ford.
Great movie. But Han Solo. But golly, Indiana Jones is for
tough.
our generation, for folks a few years older and just a few years younger than us, that's a good argument to be had amongst us. But outside of us, it's Han Solo.
Yeah, it really is, because we're right in the middle of that, because we're old enough to remember Star Wars, and then Indiana Jones come in right at the end of that, where we pay more attention to it. But Star Wars always had that aura about it. Oh, it's Star Wars, and when you couldn't get it on VHS because it wasn't on, you couldn't get it on video nothing forever.
Right. Yeah.
So when it came on network TV, by George, you was watching it. You had to be watching, because because you don't know the next time you get to see it. Because you don't know what's going to come back on. Now it's on all the time. But
bit of useless trivia while we're on this. Well, this would be a good topic for a show sometime too. But like actors that almost took parts. But Magnum PI himself, Tom Selleck, was who they chose. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg hired him to be Indiana Jones. That's who they had in mind.
Wow.
And he had just signed his contract to play Magnum. CBS wouldn't let him take the time off to film Indiana Jones. And George Lucas said, well, I got this other guy in this Star Wars movies I'm making. I said, I think he might be able to step in and do it. So that's how Harrison Ford got the role as Indiana Jones. But Tom Selleck, imagine where his career could have been. I mean, not a bad career still.
oh no, absolutely.
But
not, yeah.
that's who they had picked. That's who they wanted.
Wow, crazy. What's up, Jeff Moreland? Chad Unger said he was awesome in Blade Runner too, but not an iconic character.
Iconic movie.
Like very
Definitely
iconic.
iconic movie.
Yeah, character not, but as a whole, it was a good movie. Lady A, you got another one?
Well, I would like to answer it with a question.
Okay.
Who is your James Bond?
Ooh,
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
It's a tie between Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig.
Okay, so I was gonna go Bronson. I'm just gonna say
I don't mind Pierce Brosnan.
And
No, I was rooting for him because I thought for the longest time he'd make a great James Bond.
So I'm going to tell y'all this. I remember the first time he was up for the Bond roles and he didn't get it. Timothy Dalton got it.
Yeah.
And I like the Timothy Dalton Bond movies because that's when I was really getting into Bond.
Mm-hmm.
But Pierce is my favorite. I'm just going to say it. He was doing Remington Steele. And when he was doing Remington Steele, I thought he'd be a good Bond.
Now, when I was growing up, Roger Moore was
Bond.
And I didn't have a problem. I was fine with Roger Moore's Bond. Timothy Dalton was probably my least
Didn't
favorite.
he do the most? Roger Moore, didn't he do the most Bond?
I think so.
Thanks. And wasn't there one before Sean Connery?
Yes, there was a guy. He only did one, maybe two. There was another Timothy Dalton type.
Do you know who really likes Bond movies? A.A. Ron, Joe's husband.
Oh, really?
Yes, he loves the Bond.
Well, my mom, I stopped by the house the day that Sean. I guess it was a Saturday. We found Sean. The news broke that Sean Connery had died, and I told Mom, "Well, Dadgum said I hate to hear Sean Connery died." And her first words were, "He'll always be James Bond. He is the James Bond." And I was like, "Well, that answers that question."
I believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
when I think of James Bond, I instantly think of Sean Connery. When you ask me who my favorite Bond is, I go with
Pierce Brosnan.
because it was just my era. However,
And those were great movies. They were
Absolutely.
really
And I
good.
think with him, and I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about Brock's as George Lazenby, first James Bond.
There you go.
Thank you, Brock. I think I was thinking about this today because I figured it would come up. Daniel Craig, he looks like a James Bond.
Yeah.
He does. Those are great movies too. He does a great job.
Just his how he carries himself, his aura, he's in great shape. Pretty smooth talker. I could see him because that's what I want to see. I want to see, is that guy really James Bond?
and he
Yes.
is, and
He's
he
James
is
Bond.
believable as a badass. It's like James Bond's kind of got he's got the gadgets and the cars and he's suave with the ladies, but if you watch even the Sean Connery, any of them, he gets his butt kicked a lot, and he pulls it out at the end. Daniel Craig's, those movies themselves were a little darker. He was a little bit more of us like, this dude got just a little bit off. He's a little bit crazy and
Yeah.
he can fight. He can kill somebody. Like the other James Bonds are kind of like, do you really want to do this? And Daniel Craig's got that crazy in the eyes where it's like, I don't think you want to mess with him. It's like,
Back away.
Oh yeah, Travis, Coming to America, No Content. That is definitely an iconic movie. When I think of Eddie Murphy,
I think of Donkey and Axel Foley.
Axel
Yes,
Foley
yes,
all the way.
Hercules. Yes.
I think of Delirious. I can't help it.
Yeah, I watched that the other day.
I watched that. Yeah, it was on Netflix. It's on Netflix, isn't it? And me and Sammy were sitting
Yeah.
up one Saturday night and
That's the purple leather suit.
Delirious.
Red.
Red.
Delirious is
yeah,
red.
Raw
So
is
Raw's
the Raw's
Raw's
purple.
purple.
Delirious is the red.
Raw was
when
before
he
Delirious.
was the man.
Yeah.
Delirious is when he was becoming the man.
Yeah.
Raw was like
After.
where
I like
Chappelle
Delirious
is
better.
now.
That's my Christmas movie.
I'm a fan. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Y'all like Delirious better? I like
Yeah.
Raw better.
After rewatching Delirious again, I realized how much
Okay.
more I liked
Have a
it.
copious smile. Shut the fuck up.
Now again, that's kind of like arguing between Indiana Jones and Star Wars. They're both excellent, but Delirious got
Yeah,
to step
he
up.
pulled it out the end, Brock.
Hector, there's no need to talk about the dude. I'm poster boy for the dude. He's a given.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
definitely iconic role.
Nice shirt.
That's right. So yours James Bond, but it's
Well, I guess it would be a tie. Well, we'll just say James Craig because Tooth has
Daniel
Pierce
Craig.
Brosnan.
James Craig.
And
He's so iconic. She doesn't know his name.
wow.
I'm
yeah.
giving you a hard time.
My bad. I've got all of their names in my
She's
head
being
right
bull.
now.
There you go. That's right.
I know.
That's
I
right.
was trying to zoom in on two shirts.
No, if she was being bull, we'd be this far into the show, and she'd go, now, hold on. What is the definition of iconic?
David
Now,
Robertson.
Because, I'm picking Mr. T and the A-Team. It's like, no, bull, no.
movies, not TV shows.
Well, that's funny because I was going to say B.A. Baracus, regardless of TV shows or not. Like
Oh, there's a whole list of TV shows. I mean, I was delving into that on my
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah,
days. Like,
God.
no, we said movies. We said movies because
Oh, yeah.
I could go TV with you all night long too, and maybe we can do that
Absolutely.
next
we can
That's a
definitely
good
throw
one.
that one in.
next time.
Wes Boone, Jason Statham do. I'm sorry. Man, could y'all see Jason Statham as Bond? Just for fun.
No,
No?
I could not.
No.
No. I mean, he's a bad man.
To me, he's beyond the Spy, which I know he did the movie Spy with Melissa McCarthy, but
Which
he's
is a
beyond.
joke he made, but he was making
He was
fun
making
of.
fun.
Yeah,
He's beyond the Spy. He's more of the tactical badass.
Okay.
yeah.
And that's what I see him as. And when I think of Jason Statham, it instantly is Snatch.
Oh yeah.
I go straight.
How much longer them sausages, Tony?
See, I think Crank immediately. Those
Crank?
Crank movies, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jason Statham is more,
Turkish.
and I mean this in a good way. I don't want this to be.
I think Transporter before I think.
That's
Crank.
what I'm thinking.
If
of.
anybody jumps on, I don't want to. Let me finish before anybody starts. Jason Statham is more in that action star, that Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal,
Bruce Willis.
but he can act. In my opinion, Jason Statham's a good actor.
Absolutely.
At least he's a better actor than Seagal and Van Damme. But he's not. James Bond requires a little bit. Even Daniel
A
Craig's
softer
got
edge.
it. Well, you've got to have that.
There's got to be some suave.
Yeah,
There's
he's got to be.
some of
He's
that
got to be.
charm, that woman.
Okay.
You know,
So you're-
because
I got you.
when Daniel Craig or Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery walked into the room, you weren't immediately going, you know, he looks out of place. I mean, you put Statham or Stallone or Van Damme in a suit and they look like a wrestler trying
They
to
look
suave. They
uncomfortable.
don't look suave. They're trying to look
Yeah.
suave. You got to pull it off where it's just natural.
I got you. I'm
It's
with you on
coming
that.
off of them.
I'll hit this. Brock Loy says, "What about Tom Hardy as Bond?" You don't see it either.
Ooh.
I tell you what, when Tom Hardy, we'll
get
get into
Bronson?
this. We're getting close to something else that iconic roles. But when Tom Hardy took over Mad Max, I was like, that is perfect. I mean, he's already got to fill the shoes of another great character, another great actor. He just needs to stick with that. Let's get us another Mad Max movie made.
I like when he was Bane.
Yeah.
Hello, Batman.
Why would you shoot a man before throwing him from a plane? That's my favorite line in the whole movie.
Oh, that's good stuff right there. Hector says every role Liam Neeson has had.
Bro, but I go instantly to Taken.
Yeah, but I mean, because again, that's what pulled Liam Neeson out of the good actor. He's the guy everyone looks at and goes, I know that guy from something too. That's Liam Neeson from
He
Taken.
whooped somebody's ass in this movie. Yeah.
I really like him as the Colonel in the A-Team.
Yes.
Hannibal.
Yes.
I think he does a really good Hannibal.
I like him in Rob Roy. I like him in a lot of things, but Taken made him a household name where, again, Nicholas Ramsey knows who Liam Neeson is because of Taken.
I got you. And I'm with you.
Yeah.
He's got a certain set of skills.
He does have some skills.
Comedians
he's
use
also
that
been-
line in their stand-up.
Yeah.
And that's iconic.
He's also been kind of written into those roles.
Yeah.
Like, was it The Commuter? Where he's on the
the
train,
train,
and
yeah.
there's another one where he's on
an
a
airplane.
train.
There's one where he's on an airplane.
The-
Yeah.
with the chick that plays Lebowski. Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore, there you
Whew,
go.
God, I was going blank.
Fix itself again.
But
All right, mine. It's not. I guess this was like considered one of his breakout roles. But whenever somebody says this name, you go, all right, all right, all right.
Matthew McConaughey,
That's
man,
right.
straight out of Dazed and Confused.
Wooderson, Dazed and Confused.
That was his. That made him.
Yeah, because I mean, how old's that movie, dude? What's that? 97.
I was in high
98?
school. I mean,
Probably.
no, it's before
Okay.
that because I was in high school. when that
93,
movie came
94,
out.
then
Yeah.
around aboutish. And people still, if somebody says all right, you automatically go, all right, all right. all
He
right.
still does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that one of the most iconic lines in a movie for sure. You
And
know?
nobody else could have done it like he did it.
Ain't no way.
It's just right when he does
It's
it.
been a lot cooler.
What?
If you
It'd
did.
be a lot
You
cooler
bring
if
up
you
that
did,
movie, and that
man.
movie's that's a good movie with for
A great
again,
soundtrack.
great soundtrack, and there's a lot of quotable lines in it. But you bring up that movie in any group, they immediately start doing Matthew McConaughey's Woodard.
I
Don't
keep
care where
getting
you're at.
older, but they keep staying
Yep.
the same.
Working for the city, keep a little change in my pocket.
Think red's my color.
I kind of went Jack Nicholson on the end of that.
You kinda did.
Kind of didn't I?
He's kind of stayed that same
Yeah.
character. Like the
Be
base
a lot
of
cooler
like his
if you
characters
did.
now, they still have a little bit of that in them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like him as the Lincoln lawyer. I thought that was a really good role
Yeah.
for
That-
him.
and
Because he was
the
kind
good
of
thing
street
about him-
savvy.
Yeah.
Is he can throw on that southern accent and he can take it away.
Well, you know, my
yeah.
favorite role of Matthew McConaughey's is in A Time to Kill. But I mean, but you drop Matthew McConaughey's name and even I'll immediately start doing him from Dazed and
right,
Confused.
Well, if you drop Samuel Jackson's name, the first thing I do is, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. That is the first thing I do
Party
every
at
time.
the Moon Tower. Kegger at the Moon Tower, man.
Kegger at the Moon Tower.
Oh, you coming to Moon Tower, man?
To drop the gigs and get in with us, but that's a story for another time. Or we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, talk about that another time. Yeah, that one. That's one of the first ones I thought of, just because that movie's 20, almost 30 years old, getting close to it.
Well, you know, pretty pretty much until he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, he was just riding the wave as being the cool stoner from Dazed and Confused, and the good looking stoner.
The rom-com lead role. Or
He was a good looking dude who had the cool Southern stoner accent.
Hey,
and-
Killer Joe, though, he did a good job there.
Yes, good.
And
That's a twisted
I don't know
movie.
how you feel about Mud. I haven't seen it still.
Good movie.
I liked it.
I still haven't seen it.
Good movie.
Brock Lloyd says Reign of Fire, very underrated movie.
He's good in that. Very good. And that's Christian Bale. That's an underrated movie. Great movie.
Yeah, Christian Bale, when I think of him, I think of American Psycho.
Me too.
Every time.
Gotta go.
No,
Gotta rewind some tapes. Gotta return some videotapes.
Yeah.
I've got to return some videotapes.
Tooth, who's next on your
Ever listen to
list
Huey
here?
Lewis?
Burt
Sports?
Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
And yeah, the Bandit. That's
The
an
Bandit?
iconic role.
Absolutely.
I absolutely believe wholeheartedly the Bandit is an iconic role, and you could not have had anybody else do his role, and you couldn't have had anybody else play the Snowman.
That's right.
It just would not have been this, and you darn sure couldn't have had anybody else play Sheriff Buford
Frog.
T. Justice.
Yep.
Oh. Give me a Diablo
No,
sandwich.
I can't argue
And
with
Dr.
any of that.
Pepper. And make it snappy because I'm in a goddamn hurry. I mean, Jackie Gleason, that's an iconic role.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has plenty of iconic
Oh yeah, I was
roles.
going to say that's not his only one, but that's one.
You say Ralph, and I think Jackie Gleason, you know?
Yeah. You ass. In the toilet.
U.S. Bates. Oh, that is one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, when Patrick hangs out, we're constantly doing Smoking the Bandit references. Me and you do it all the time.
Yeah.
So she's like, because she saw Smoking Bandit a long time ago. She's a kid, doesn't remember, those movies. You remember watching it, but you can't remember a lot about it.
Those that were forced upon you.
Yes. So we sat there one day in the living room and we watched it, and she's like, I get it now. Oh, I get it now. So she said, yeah, I'm Frog. That's me. I'm Frog.
Man, if I'd have had played a drinking game with every time I'd already heard that before, I'd have been just a little buzzed.
What's she got on now? Her mind.
Yeah, it's just the whole movie was just a big rerun of my life
Of
with
your
Travis.
Yeah.
Oh, good choice, though, sir.
Let's jump something else.
Good choice.
Jump me.
Brock said, this was from earlier, a few weeks ago, actually. I got in here late, but Nicolas Cage in Raising Arizona.
I mean, it's a really good movie.
And he's awesome in
Really,
it.
really,
absolutely.
really good movie. And I mean, he is very good in it, but I can't think of an iconic role that Nicolas Cage has done.
I agree with you.
He's just Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
He is an excellent actor, and he has range in his acting ability.
Con Air?
I think that's a great movie, but it's just another Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, but it's not iconic. I mean, you
Well,
wouldn't-
no,
again,
it's
if
not.
you-
But I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of like
trying to put-
synonymous.
Yeah.
When I think of them, I think of that movie.
I think Con Air, I think of Steve Buscemi.
I do as well. I absolutely go straight to him before I would.
But to
I
your
think
point,
John
Con
Malkovich,
Air,
he did. I love him in that movie.
when I was telling Jerry Jones about it this morning, he said, "Oh, like that movie that Nicolas Cage was in." I'm like, "Okay, which one?" He's like,
Yeah.
the one who got out of prison. I said, "Con Air? Yeah, that one."
Well, see, that's
So-
not, if he doesn't even, if he can't remember the name of the movie, then it's not an iconic role. He
Right.
did good in it, but that's
Yeah.
iconic. Is like you immediately know the character's name, the movie that it was from.
Yeah, Bones is old though.
Well,
Oh, he's by golly, he ain't that old.
Wes Boone says Bruce Willis, 12 Monkeys or Die Hards.
Die Hard.
Die
12
Hard.
Monkeys is a great movie.
Die Hard's iconic.
The
though.
character though,
Yeah.
Last Boy Scout.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Last
gonna-
Boy's gonna love that
That's
movie.
a great movie.
When there's like a huge following to make Die Hard a Christmas movie, because it is, then it's iconic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker.
I'm with
Yeah.
Raven Ball, Gone in 60 Seconds. I think of Nicolas Cage for that, and Angelina
Yes.
Jolie.
Yeah, that's a killer. That's a
I
killer.
love that movie.
Right,
But
Robert Duvall, and that was pretty good too.
I also go directly to Giovanni Ribisi, however you say his
Yeah,
name.
Chiva, yeah.
I like that guy. I like
Yeah,
his
I do
acting.
too. National Treasures. I mean, that was a pretty successful.
That's what it was called. I was thinking of that, but again, couldn't remember it, so not iconic
But
enough.
no, yeah, a good point. Very, very true. Very true. God, I was running my mouth. Whose turn is it? What did you just say?
It's Bradley.
Bradley's.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, and this is this. I've batted this one around also, trying to think of, because again, I have to separate myself from the dork that I am and what's truly iconic. Because I mean, Mel Gibson, he's an icon of himself before he had his problems. But I kept wanting to say Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
I'm with you on that.
But I think that as far as staying power and what's a lot of folks still go back to, what's still pop culture, I'm going with Max Rockatansky from
Well, he is
Mad Max, Road Warrior Beyond Thunderdome. And I mean, they even reprised the franchise, which he's not starring in. But for me, and it all begins there. And and you can bring up, and it's funny that the Road Warrior is actually more popular than Mad Max. But you bring up Mel Gibson, most folks will always wind up going back to the Road Warrior. That comes up at some point. And but for me, Martin Riggs is his most iconic role. But I love those movies. I had to separate myself because those movies hit right at the perfect age for me.
Yeah.
And I just don't know, if my son will go back and watch Lethal Weapon. But I see a lot of kids that get in, and it's probably because of Tom Hardy reprising the role. But I know a lot of younger folks, they know Mad Max. They know those movies. So for me, anyway, his most iconic role is Max in the Road Warrior movies.
I'd watched the first Mad Max when I was a kid, when I was a children. And I watched the new one with Tom Hardy, which is a great movie. And so I went back and watched all the Mad Maxes. I still, though, Mel Gibson, Riggs.
Yeah.
The Weapon. Because, like you said, that hit at the right time, that right age, where I could watch a movie by myself, and stay engaged in the entire thing. And that was one of the first ones I remember watching at my dad's house on the weekend. It rained and couldn't go outside and play basketball. It's like, my dad rented that from Blockbuster or whatever. I'm like, let's try this out. And that was a great
I bet a lot of
movie.
people put him, though, with Braveheart.
Well, that's what we said last night. William Wallace, I mean, that's what won him the Oscar, and or not for playing that role, but for directing the movie. And yeah, pop culture wise, that's probably would be the most recognizable to most people, I would think. But again, I separate the nerd from the normal guy's heart sometimes. And I just had, because in my world, it's just, I just see, when you say Mel Gibson, I always see the cover of the Mad Max where he's in the leather outfit, he's walking, got the sawed-off shotgun, and I'm just like, that's Mel Gibson for me.
When I see the cover of Lethal Weapon and that sweet mullet he had.
And you know what? Those first two Lethal Weapon movies, and after them, everyone tried to recreate that. The buddy cop with the one-liners and whatnot. But that had the perfect, except those movies are dark too.
Yeah.
They never get screwball comedy-ish. It's like the one-liners are thrown in there, but they don't feel forced, and the action, Riggs is crazy, genuinely crazy.
Yes.
And
Yeah, they like to throw in a couple of botched
but it wasn't for,
suicides.
we get later on, we got Tango and Cash, and we got some other stuff,
Tango
which
and
was
Cash.
obviously trying to cash in on the buddy cop. But those two Lethal Weapon movies are, they're dark.
Turner and Hooch was a good buddy cop movie.
That's a good buddy cop movie. Hey, Rock Lloyd's got a good one here. Lethal Weapon, borderline Christmas movie.
Yeah, so I've always said Die Hard and Lethal Weapon are my two favorite Christmas movies. Always said it.
That's a new one in the fold there, buddy. Let's see, before we get to Lady A here, John Belushi, Blues Brothers, and Animal House. Which one? She picked both of them, but
Both, but Blues Brothers over.
Blues Brothers.
yeah. Which I liked Animal House better, but when I think of John Belushi, I think of the hat and the sunglasses and Dan Aykroyd. The hat.
That's a toss-up, man. That's a hard one.
But Animal House was like, I like it better than I did Blues Brothers.
Golly, that's tough. I'm going with Animal House.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong, but
It just by a hair. I mean, those are both classic movies.
Absolutely.
And I'd fight anybody they said they sucked, but
That's it.
Gross.
fight me.
Ugh.
the whole speech he gives when the Nazis invaded Pearl Harbor. I love that.
That's, oh my gosh. Lady A, what you got next? You got anything next?
This one can be argued.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with Forrest Gump.
You stole it right from under
Can't
me.
argue with
Good.
that.
Okay,
I
good job.
won't argue with that. I'm with you.
I think I was little
I
Forrest
was going
age.
to preface, if it had made it back to me, that was my next. And I was going to preface it with, this is one of those actors who has multiple
Yes.
iconic roles, in my opinion. Forrest Gump, the Castaway role.
Castaway, yeah.
And I instantly think of Josh Baskin if I think of Tom Hanks. I go straight to big.
Big, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Straight to big.
I think that's one where he was an established actor already. He was a good
Yes.
actor. He had a lot of iconic roles.
Oh, already. Yeah.
And then
Joe
you hit-
versus the volcano.
And then the bachelor party. Back
The
in
Burbs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then-
bachelor party.
Yeah. And then you take Forrest Gump, and I think that just put him over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was already making that convergent from the kind of the comedy, romantic comedy, guy to guy, likable guy. Then he did Philadelphia, which is what really
Yes.
that put him on track. But then Forrest Gump just after Forrest Gump,
Exploded, yeah.
Can I just say,
and then right after that was Saving Private. He put 3 out in a row where it was just like
He was great in
shit.
Private Ryan.
and I was going to use that later too. Go ahead. Y'all can go.
Shaving Ryan's Privates. That was a great one.
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, Forrest Gump by far. But I mean, there's books.
He's got so many.
You go to the bookstore, there's a Gumpisms. There's a book.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Restaurant.
T-shirt memes.
I just
There's
wanna say-
a billion memes based around
I
Forrest
love
Gump.
Tom Hanks in Dragnet.
Oh,
With
yes.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yes.
No, if you want to go with Castaway Wilson, that's his most iconic role because there's more memes about Wilson than there are Tom Hanks.
but he was good. Wilson
He was really
in
good in Top Gun. He was the volleyball in Top
Yeah,
Gun.
but it was Castaway we're talking about most iconic roles.
I don't know, man.
Castaway.
A lot of people really go, hey, didn't you do Top Gun?
But he showed his range. He got the credit he deserved in Castaway,
He did.
It was a non-speaking part on.
Oh,
and he did it all in red face.
He did. It was bloody the whole movie. The next one I got, he'd done stuff before this because I watched one of the movies. This was an older one. This one he did the voice, but was James Earl Jones, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the movie I watched, but I heard the voice and I was like, "What is this?" And it was from like the late '60s, and it was a pretty good movie. Been years ago, so I don't remember. But just how many people has Luke, I'm your father, which he doesn't say that, but have done the Luke. You've done that voice.
Yep.
Everybody has, and that was James Earl Jones. Of course, originally they weren't going to use him. They were going to use the guy who did who was the guy in the Darth Vader suit, but his voice was terrible,
Right.
horrible.
He had an accent too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was like I want to say he was like from South Carolina or something. Big dude. No, maybe he was English guy. I think he still lives in England. Anyway, but James Earl Jones, his voice made that role iconic. It would have been a good role anyway, but having his voice behind that, I think
Oh
put it
yeah.
over the top. And to me, when I think of James Earl Jones, I think of Darth Vader every time. And he's done some great stuff before and after. Sandlot, he was great in Sandlot. It was
Field of
great.
Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Yep. There you go.
But to me, Darth Vader, James Earl Jones. Before we get to Tooth, Jeffrey Griffin, John Candy, Uncle Buck, Great Outdoors.
Those are the same role. I mean, I love John Candy, and I think he was great. But if I'm going to have to pick one, it's going to be Harry Crumb.
Oh, there you go. That's another good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
It is.
But no, I think if people think of John Candy, I think they instantly go to Trains, Planes, or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that's where
Yeah.
he's most
I go to Uncle Buck.
instantly.
You go to Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Hey,
I
Brock.
liked his small but scene stealing part in Home Alone as one of the Polka brothers.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
agree with you.
Polka.
That's right. Brock, Arby's. That's Vin Rames. That does the Arby's commercials.
No.
Tooth. What say you, sir? That now that everybody's stolen on yours.
Well, there's been a lot of thievery. not intentionally, but
Great minds think alike.
But if I'm
That's
going to
good.
have to say iconic role, it's all based on opinion,
Oh, it really, yeah. It is
so
opinion.
if I'm trying to just
It's like your opinion, man.
to meet massive, like broad span iconic roles, and obviously we could say the Terminator and Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean that's a given.
Well, that's absolute, but that's absolutely iconic role. I mean, that's
It absolutely is 100%. But I'm saying if we're just going for the biggest bunch of people to, hey, yeah, we all think that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm just thinking of something I think was an iconic role for an actor, whether or not it's been notarized, I think Edward Norton in American History X.
Oh man,
I can't argue with
I
that.
think that's a really iconic role. I think that was probably something he had to dig deep to do.
absolutely.
And that's probably the movie he'll most be remembered for.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was to die tomorrow, everybody on the news, they'd talk about a lot of stuff, but then they was like, but best known for his jaw-dropping performance in American History X. I mean, I can hear him saying it now. That's
Yeah. And he gained a lot of weight, a lot of muscle for that movie because he's a small guy.
He's a tiny man.
But yeah, even though he did Fight Club and he was great in Fight Club,
Primal Fear.
Yeah, I still think I agree with you, American History X, because that had to have been a hard role to play because of the subject matter.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Edward Norton's not like that in real life. So him having to do that, which to me made even more showed his range. He's willing to do this, willing to gain all that muscle. He probably gained 25, 30 pounds of muscle. Maybe not that, but it's quite a bit.
He had to put in work to get that.
Oh, yeah,
right.
got jacked. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't just get like that overnight.
Dude, that scene where,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's pretty cut in that movie.
Bite the curb, son.
Yeah. Oh.
That's all I think of.
That scene is iconic
Yeah.
in its own right.
Oh yeah,
But
good choice though, man.
that's where, I mean, like I said, if I'm just going for the mainstream, then yeah, I would say Schwarzenegger and Terminator because everybody knows that. But I'm going with Edward Norton.
That's a
in
good one.
American History X.
absolutely. Bradley, what you got next?
Again, I'm kind of leaning in his direction where it's probably not a huge mass appeal here, but I'm Tommy Lee Jones as Woodrow F. Call and
That's right.
Lonesome Dove. That's
By God, Woodrow, you stubborn son of a bitch.
you drop that, you say Tommy Lee Jones, and I immediately start quoting lines from Lonesome Dove. And just as a fine example of nobody else could do that when they remade, or not didn't remake, but they made the sequel, and John Voight, who is a phenomenal actor,
Yes, sir.
took over that role. Just can't watch it just because Tommy Lee Jones is Woodrow F. Call.
Well, I want to add to him, to Tommy Lee Jones. You brought The Fugitive up earlier, but The Fugitive is, even though it was a Harrison Ford movie, that was really a Tommy Lee Jones movie.
Yeah, he finally got some credit.
Because he got U.S. Marshals after that, and he played the same dude in U.S. Marshals, which was also a really good movie.
Right. No, I won't argue with him. They won the Oscar for The Fugitive.
I think my favorite, and I love Tommy Lee Jones, so this is hard, but I think my favorite role is The Client. I love him in The Client. I love him in that lawyer style role. Like I don't know.
I loved him in Cobb. That's my favorite.
Yes.
Other than Woodrow F. Call, but him playing Ty Cobb.
That is a good movie.
I liked him as Two-Face.
He was excellent as Two-Face. I concur.
I like when in
was
Cobb,
fun.
when he was at the club and that one promoter or whatever asked him, said, he got up on stage, said, Ty Cobb, legendary baseball player, your lifetime batting average was 360 something. What do you think he would bat against today's pitcher? Probably about 275. 275, but your lifetime average is whatever. Why so low? Because I'm 82 years old, you dumb son of a bitch. Give me that microphone. It just starts going off about Babe Ruth being
So don't you have one nice thing to say about Babe Ruth? And he thought for a minute, and he said, well, he could run pretty good for a fat guy.
That's great. Oh, man. Wes Boone, Robin Williams, who's had some iconic roles. He said in his character in Dead Post.
He had an excellent character, and that is one. I just want to throw this out here.
Donna.
That is one of Elise Clark's favorite movies on earth. To the point she almost cried when they pulled it from Netflix. So I called her night before last or last night when I realized that Amazon has it now as a Prime listing.
Oh, okay. That's
And
good.
she lost her. Dad, thank you so much. Do we have Prime? Yes, we do. Let me get you in there.
If not, we will in a second.
But listen, Robin Williams has multiple roles.
Oh, man.
That one's hard.
That really is.
This is Doubtfire for me.
Here's the run by the fruiting. Oh, hope it gets the burp. Mork from Mork.
I was going to say Mork.
That's
Definitely
TV show,
Mork, but I don't know, guys. He's had so many great roles.
Oh, man. Patch Adams.
I was going to.
Sorry.
That one's a hard one.
I'm starting crying just thinking about
Robin
him.
Williams, that is a super, like the genie off Aladdin. I mean, almost anything he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, even that movie, was it Toys or something
Yes.
like that?
Oh, Toys. I love that
Toys.
movie.
I had Joan and LL Cool J, John Cusack.
Yeah, I went to the movie theater and watched
It
it.
was an excellent movie.
Yes,
Goodwill
it
Hunting.
was.
I mean,
That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. So for me, Goodwill Hunting, that role, he plays that psychiatrist, and I was also going to bring Matt Damon up for the Will role and Ben Affleck just because they wrote it. But-
Look,
Yeah, what about Hook? Yeah, he was great
Yeah.
as Peter Pan.
Popeye.
Oh, he was a good Popeye. Yeah, that's too hard.
Yeah, man.
He had a lot of
Who
good-
brought that up? Wes.
Yeah,
Daggum it.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all don't even talk about Emmanuel Williams because that's when we get back around, that's where I was going.
All right. I was
So
going to
leave
say
that
it. I
out
was
of
gonna say,
there.
all right. Lady A, what do you got next?
Gosh.
I hope she don't say it.
Yeah, I'll be so mad.
No, I'm going to say something that nobody is going to say. Daniel Radcliffe and Harry Potter.
Well, that's really a good
Yeah.
one.
Because it's,
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a-
I mean, he'll forever be known for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
now he
that's
does
that's
theater.
the definition of iconic. No,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine anybody else playing that part. And
can't really imagine him doing anything else.
Yeah.
Like Katniss Everdeen
Yep. Yeah, her
and Jennifer
too.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Although she's got a lot of good roles.
Hey,
yeah, she's won a couple of Oscars.
she is an excellent
Yes.
actress.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
she is.
And Fire Ass Hot,
Yeah.
for sure. Didn't Daniel Radcliffe, whatever his name is, didn't he do like a...
Horns. I think Horns is excellent.
Yeah.
He did Horns.
See, I read the book, so the movie disappointed me. So
But I like the movie and I don't
Naturally.
read.
Who invited Bradley to this reading stuff? Oh,
This ain't a book
Ooh,
club. We're talking about movies.
that's another good one. We should do books turned to movies.
Yes, there's a lot of,
Me,
and
Riley,
there
me
are
and you
actually,
can just do that.
and there are a lot of good ones there.
I can do that one.
Yeah,
I'm not going to have read the book.
And then I'll be like,
know lots
it's like,
of
all
movies
right,
that came
guys,
from books.
we do that show, and it'll be like, all right, guys, tonight it's just me and everybody else is producing. You know, just sitting over there drinking, listening to me talk.
Hey, Tooth, what's this button do?
That's the dump button.
and it's a disaster.
On the Wednesday night show.
My next one, man, you can argue every role this man's probably ever played. But the one that sticks out for me, and just to solidify my choice on it, I hit the IMDb. I typed his name in. This movie was the first one that popped up. And it's John Wayne, but Rooster Cogburn and True Grit.
Yes, absolutely.
Sons of Katie Elder is one of my all-time favorite movies. Was it Quiet Man?
Yep, that's a good one.
Green Berets, but Rooster Cogburn and True Grit is my all-time favorite. And even the remake,
I was going to say with Jeff Bridges,
that was
and
awesome.
he did a good job.
Man, that was
That
a
was
great
good.
remake right there. But John Wayne and True Grit, Rooster Cogburn, that is, to me, when I think of him, that's who I think of. Is that right there? That was a great, it's an iconic movie, iconic actor. But that dude was awesome. That definitely one of my favorite characters in any movie. If I was shout. I'm just trying to read up on some comments, get caught up here. What you got next?
All right, guys, this is a twofer, and I'm just going to go ahead and call that out. This is two people, but it's, to me, these roles for them and are iconic roles. And for me, if I hear either of their names, even though I can think of multiple other movies, I instantly go straight to this. Timothy Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Andy Dufresne and Red.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All day long.
That was on my list.
Say, yes, I know Morgan Freeman has been in a bazillion movies. I know Driving Miss Daisy, all these roles that we can talk all
Andy.
day long. But yes, it's Andy Dufresne and Red. Those are
That was the
iconic.
longest night of his
Andy
life.
Dufresne.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just saying.
That's one of the best movies ever.
And to know that
Even
Stephen
with the
King
poop
wrote
scene.
that should really.
And Tim Robbins, he's had great.
Wasn't he
Oh,
in
yeah.
Bull?
He was in Bull Durham.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, great. He was in Top Gun too.
He absolutely was.
But yeah, Andy Dufresne. That man, I was late to the game of watching that movie. Everybody had seen it. All my buddies had seen it, and you've seen it. And I always talk about it, quoted it. I'm like, what? Fine, I'm gonna watch this movie. I seriously watched it back to back. It was that good.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, this is the jam. Good,
That's
good
one
choice.
of those movies
James
that when
Wesley Boone, I like that you're a top fan, and I like that you're talking about Josie Wells because I was earlier talking about Josie Wells. So good call.
Still the man with no name, though.
Yeah, but no, you guys have really had some really good picks tonight.
We got some toothpicks.
you've had some good picks.
Raven Ball, he said Mark Wahlberg, Boogie Nights, and somebody else
Had said Fear earlier.
had said Fear. Fear's, whew, man, that movie. Good Lord, have mercy. Jamie Lynn Rogers, she said Fear.
Fucking house.
Yeah.
I will never forget that ever.
But
That
when
was
I
so
think of Mark
spooky.
Wahlberg, I think of Marky Mark and Funky Bunch.
Yeah, me too. I think of Rockstar. I think that was
Yeah.
him really branching out.
Stand up and shout. Yeah. Love that movie.
Steel Dragon.
That's right.
Uh,
I learned it by, I can't say that line.
but yeah, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman has done so many great movies, and he is that. I feel like he deserves some kind of bigger recognition than what he maybe has gotten. But
Morgan Freeman?
yes,
Oh, shoot, man. Morgan Freeman's beloved.
he is beloved, but he's got no awards. Like he's not had that role where it's just he's always a supporting. You know what I'm saying? It's never just like in Shawshank. He did most of everything as far as the narrating and all that, but it was still about Andy Dufresne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's always a supporting.
The longest night of his life. Good pick, sir.
Thanks, man. Bradley?
Well, I keep looking at this shirt over here, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to pick one, but I'm just going with the whole cast of Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because none
can't
of them,
pick
in
one.
my opinion, there's some great actors. Harvey Keitel is arguably, the best actor in that movie. He's a phenomenal actor. Been in some phenomenal movies.
Man, he's good.
But Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Quentin Tarantino, in my opinion, does a pretty dang good job.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Chris Penn.
Chris Penn.
Chris Penn,
But
yes.
everybody in there, that movie is iconic. But I could not imagine any one of those guys being played by anybody
No,
else. And
absolutely
in my opinion, none of those guys have done anything near as good as what they did in that movie.
You're not gonna die. Say the fucking words.
Did you ever listen to K. Billy's Super Sounds in the 70s?
That guy that
Guys are
does
so
that
sick.
voice, is that not the guy from Ghost that teaches Patrick Swayze
Yes.
how to be a ghost?
Yes.
What's his name?
Oh,
he
it's-
did comedy, but it was dark comedy.
Hold on,
Stephen something? Stephen Wright?
Stephen Wright.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. He's the king of
Almanacs.
one-liners. So Stephen Wright was Mitch Hedberg takes a lot from Stephen Wright. It's just he had no set. He just walked out and just told one-liner jokes and that.
I pulled up to a
Stoner
gas
voice.
station that said self-serve and had a sign on the door that said now hiring. So I went inside and gave myself a job. That's a Stephen
Yeah,
Wright.
there you go.
That's a Stephen Wright.
His delivery is just perfect.
And his iconic roles, most iconic roles, the dude on the couch in Half Baked.
Yes.
10. 10, Travis.
Damn, got it.
I don't know what that means.
Tipping.
That's all we got left?
Yeah.
It's already been that long?
Yeah. we're almost
We've been
9
breezing
o'clock.
through this one, man. I looked at my
12 in.
I looked at my phone a
Yeah,
minute
we-
ago and I was like, God, I can't believe it's already.
We went 30 minutes too long last week.
I'm sorry. Will you bring up hers, Jamie Lynn Rogers, please? Because I do agree with her. That is an
You bring it up.
okay. Split, James McAvoy and Split, absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
yeah.
Oh man, that showed his range.
I've not seen that.
Man, and I hate that Tooth coerced me into going to watch this at the movie theater, and it
Yeah, I know what you're
absolutely
talking about.
broke me on the inside just a little bit. And now I want to watch the second one, and
It's not as good.
okay, so I don't need to.
Each one,
I mean,
it's
will
a
it
good
break
movie.
me?
It's
Like-
good. No, it's
Oh,
good.
man, that one was tough.
It's good, but it's not as good as each of their individual movies. Like Unbreakable's really good,
Yeah.
and then Split's. They're both great movies, and this is cool seeing them all together. But
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay,
Glass.
Yeah. That's it.
because Split was good, but it just checked off every fear that I ever have it going into a movie. I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. Well, it did, and it sucked.
Well, and that was one of those movies that I remember going to see it in the theater because I was kind of rooting for M. Night Shyamalan to get back in the game, and making good movies.
Yeah.
James McAvoy was one of those actors. It's like, yeah, he's a good actor. But I went in with probably not low expectations, but not expecting. I was like, I'll probably enjoy this. It's a good Saturday afternoon. Walked out there going, whoa, that's like one of those diamonds in the rough. That it's like, when you walk out there going, okay, that was not only good, but that was great. And now when it's on TV, if it's on anything, I was like, I'm watching this. Wherever it's at, I stop it. I'm watching it.
I was going to say Johnny Depp earlier, but I was going to say as George Young. I feel like he really
Yes.
portrayed George Young in a really probably excellent depiction.
Yeah, it got Craig so into it. He wrote George Young a letter in prison.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely did.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, because it's Craig.
And
Great role.
But Johnny Depp is another hard one though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
'cause
definitely
he's got
Captain
so
Jack
many-
Sparrow's the most iconic one.
That-
Edward
Edward
Scissorhands. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing.
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Again,
As Hunter S.
great
Thompson.
roles, but iconic is
The Mad Hatter.
the Captain Jack Sparrow's
Willy
is like
Wonka.
Rocky. It's, I mean, they're rides, they're Disney theme, but there's a section of the theme park
True, very true.
at Disneyland based on Johnny Depp's version of Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Very true.
That's
transcends anything else.
Could you put Johnny Depp and Tom Hanks in the same because they've had so many iconic roles?
Yeah,
I
but
I
you
think
have
when
to
there's
put-
toys at Walmart based on a character you played, that's your most iconic role.
Well, Wilson's at
Well,
Walmart. I'm just saying.
Big Germ says Chuck Norris, Lone Wolf McQuaid.
I mean, I really like Chuck Norris for his memes.
Yeah.
That's his most iconic performance for me.
His tears can cure cancer, but he don't
right.
cry.
Exactly.
Who's next?
Lone Wolf McQuaid's definitely Chuck Norris's best movie. I love that movie. We'll watch it to this
Delta
day.
Force.
Didn't
You just win.
she said
She did. She just went with
I went, then you.
So it's my turn. It's my
or
turn.
you. Then
She-
it's you and then you.
you went
Hell, I don't
and
know.
said
I said
James
Harry Potter.
McAvoy.
Harry Potter,
Oh.
and then you went and said,
James Earl Jones.
and then I said Andy Dufresne.
Then I said
and
the cast of
Oh,
Resident
so
Guess
it's my
Reynolds.
turn now.
Yeah, so it's your turn.
Okay. Jim Carrey for Ace Ventura.
There you
He
go.
could have, he's got multiples. Like, I really love him as what, let me show you something. In Living
Fire Marshal
Color.
Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
But
The Mask.
The Mask. But I guess Ace Ventura was that kind of the transition from In Living Color to movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura is still the one that folks. Oh,
Yeah.
you say Jim Carrey. They all righty then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one.
Yep.
That's your.
Yeah, you're on
Finkel's
something
Outlaw.
right there.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
wanna
sure.
And I love him. He's
Finkel's
hilarious.
Pretty
I've
sure
done that.
his Dumb and Dumber role is pretty iconic too, though.
The what?
The
What?
Dumb and Dumber role.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My next one, there's three of them. I couldn't. One guy, three characters. Couldn't pick out which one. Tom Cruise, Color Money, Risky Business, Top Gun.
Cocktail. I just did it on purpose.
Yeah, I was wearing my cocktail shirt and I couldn't find it.
Man, if you picked all three of those and you have to pick one, I'm gonna say Top Gun's gonna be his
Yeah.
most iconic.
You think so?
I think
My
so.
favorite's The Color of Money.
That's a killer movie.
I think Tom Cruise is just an icon. I don't
so?
think he's had an iconic role. Tom Cruise is just Tom Cruise.
He carries.
I don't know if you throw Tom Cruise out there. I don't know if there's like one movie or one character.
Right.
Because if you think about it, Tom Cruise is just even as Ethan Hunt, it's just Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Tom Cruise is a cool dude. Forget all the Scientology stuff and all the weirdness. He's a cool dude. When you see Tom Cruise on screen, you want to watch and you instantly like him.
Absolutely.
I mean, but Tom Cruise
What's up,
is
Jimmy
more,
Hammond?
Tom Cruise is more of just an icon than really
with-
has ever
I'm with
done
that.
an
Yeah.
iconic role.
I'm
I
with
just
that.
couldn't go because he's one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors, and I couldn't go. Days of Thunder too. I mean, Cold
Absolutely.
Circle.
Cold Trickle.
You know
Eyes
what?
wide shut.
That was
There's not a bad Tom Cruise movie
Well, like I
that I
said,
can
Mission
name.
Impossible, and the dude's still doing it to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Mission Impossible,
He
Ethan
stood on
Hunt.
Oprah's couch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. But we'll go around, get one more from everybody.
But if you're gonna pick up on Jennifer's,
I am.
okay.
You got anything in that?
I just want to throw in no.
Okay. No, you can throw some in there.
Well, we can't go TV, but he's Vinnie Barbarino.
That's right. Over 21
He's
wall.
got his over 21 wall.
Yeah. She says John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever, Tony Manero,
Yes.
Vinny Vega, Pulp Fiction.
Did we have that discussion earlier? I think that's a generational thing
Yeah.
because there are folks that will absolutely. And if you asked me, I go with Vincent Vega. Now, I'm familiar with all of his movies, and I think they're all iconic roles. But just for me, Vincent Vega is his most. But that's an argument. That there's arguments that can be made, and I couldn't settle on just one. But personally,
I'm
it's
with
Vegas.
Brock. Tom Cruise, definitely Tropic Thunder. That showed his range because he had done nothing like that prior.
No, that's for
And
sure.
I think it showed what a cool guy he was, too.
Yes.
That all the BS. And again, I think there is some weirdness going on with him, but I think that showed everybody's like, look, maybe I'm a little different, but I can still make fun of myself.
Yeah.
I'm cool enough to do this.
yeah.
It was hilarious.
Jamie Lynn Rogers, I'm gonna have to disagree. Eddie Murphy coming to America if we're going movies.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Raven said Urban Cowboy.
I
Bradley,
started to say Urban Cowboy because that was my grandmother's
Brought that up, too. I mean, I think
favorite movie.
I think there are, with three of his movies, that's the deal with him. With three of his movies, there's a large group of people that would argue for any one of those three.
Look who's talking.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that one.
Oh, Tooth.
I like those.
Is it my turn again?
Yeah.
All right. Iconic movie role. Iconic movie role. Iconic movie role. I'm pretty sure the dude is going to be my closer. We've kind of
you got to,
somebody
Brad.
lightly
I've
touched
taken
it
that off my
earlier,
list just for you.
but the dude is absolutely. Listen, Jeff Bridges had an illustrious career. Look, he was Tron in
Starman.
Starman.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool movie.
That's what I meant. Look, he's done some crazy stuff, some great movies. He was The Giver,
Hey, that was a good role.
but
Also a book.
I think the majority of people you ask are going to instantly say, "Oh, he's the dude," because it has become such a cult thing. He even threw the first pitch in at a Cubs game as the dude. Like he got up there like he was about to pitch it, and then he bowled it.
He's living.
Yes, I don't know if it
That's
was a
cool.
Cubs game. I shouldn't
Whenever
say
they
it.
did
It was
it
a
in real
baseball
life.
game.
Right.
He went up to throw the opening pitch. He did the wind up like he was fixing to throw it, and he just bowled it in, and it was awesome.
Well, you know, and again, that's a perfect example of an iconic role because Jeff Bridges is an actor that was an actor's actor. No one would argue. He comes from an acting family. Bo Bridges, Lloyd Bridges. And Jeff Bridges was in a ton of movies leading up to that, but most folks didn't really know who Jeff Bridges was. They knew, oh, he's that guy in Starman, or he was that guy. But then once, I mean, there are probably some people that still don't know Jeff Bridges' name, but know who the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
They know who Lebowski.
They know who the dude
They know
is.
who Walter is. I mean, that character.
Walter Sobchak.
That's exactly what I was talking about when we came up with this.
That's why
that's an iconic
That's
role.
why I wore it.
That's it. Good job, man. Bradley, what's your last one here?
What's your closer?
To finish it off, and again, for me, the movie that defines this guy's career, and he wasn't even the star of the movie, but Heath Ledger is the Joker. I mean, that is an
Yes.
iconic role. That dude,
Yep.
and he was in my opinion, a lot of good stuff. And he
God's
died
too.
died way too early.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, I love that.
Had a very small part in Monsters Ball, but a very moving part in Monsters.
But we're talking about, Jack Nicholson's Joker. Well, nobody else could have done Heath Ledger's Joker.
I mean, he
no
redefined what that. I mean, for me, I had no clue what I thought when they announced he was playing the Joker. I was like, they're screwing this up.
Yeah.
And I liked Heath Ledger, but I was like, yeah, they're screwed. But now for me,
Well, people say that's the role that killed him, too, though.
Yes.
he is
took it on too
the Joker.
deeply.
And I mean, you see, again, T-shirts are made with just Heath Ledger as the Joker on the
Yeah.
front. Enough said.
People are getting
Yeah.
tattoos of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean that
Tons
was
of people.
again. There's nothing else I need to say.
That's
about
an iconic-
it.
you're absolutely
it's an
right.
iconic role,
For
and he
sure.
killed it. I mean, when I walked out of there, I immediately wanted to go back in and watch that movie again just to see him. I'd forgotten about Batman. I didn't care about Batman. I didn't care about any of that. I thought Christian Bale was a really good Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
But I wanted to go right back in, and I just wanted to can you just re-show all the scenes with Heath Ledger in it?
Pretty sure you can get that on YouTube
He
now.
just killed it.
Yeah.
Groovy says Four Feathers was pretty good.
Yeah, good movie. He was in a lot of good movies. 10 Things I Hate About You, one of my all-time
That was
favorite romantic. I believe that topped my list when we had that episode.
Brokeback wasn't that good.
He,
Was good. He was really good in that.
Put all that stuff aside.
Like,
he did a phenomenal job in that
I ain't
movie.
seen it.
Him and
Gyllenhaal.
Jake, both of them did a great. I know where we're at.
Yeah.
And I know
No,
what kind of
it's-
show we're doing. But and I've seen the movie one time. That's all I cared to see it. But they did a great job.
They
in it.
portrayed love, and that
And Heath Ledger, in my
defines their
opinion, did the
acting.
best job because
They did
You
the job.
believed
I
that they
believed
were
it.
in love.
Absolutely
job.
believed it.
Yeah.
They
did a
the
great job.
Has to be mentioned. I saw it earlier. Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hector said that one.
Go ahead.
Yep.
It's Lady A's turn. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, sir. You're correct.
So here's another one that has so many, but I'm just going to go to the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but for Icon.
For you.
Brad Pitt, Interview with a Vampire. But you've got Benjamin Button. You've got Meet Joe Black. I mean,
Fight Club.
Inglourious
Fight
Bastards.
Club's probably.
Tristan and Legends of the Fall. That's what.
Legends
that's
of the Fall.
Generally,
Probably it, but I
Bridges
didn't
of
have it.
Madison County.
I don't remember that one.
Hey, that's another role that's one of those movies where I watch it because of his part.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt, but he's done a lot of good
But
ones too.
The Oceans, like any movie that he's in, he's
Film movie.
just good.
Yes.
He
Again, I think he probably leans
Moneyball.
more into he's an icon.
Moneyball.
In
Yeah.
Finally
himself.
watched it.
Yeah.
Great.
isn't
Great
it a
movie.
great movie?
Great movie.
Because I'll watch a movie just because he's in it. Like Ad Astra watched that the other day.
It's
Oh, it
terrible.
was weird.
I heard
Yeah.
it was terrible. I've
It-
not seen it.
It
I've heard
wasn't
it's
great.
no good.
And Tommy Lee Jones
I
was
think
in
it's
it too.
good.
And
I think
was
it's
just
long.
like,
It's a thinking movie. It's not really.
So I will like it because,
Yeah.
like, I like
It's very
2001: A
deep.
Space Odyssey.
Yeah, you'll like it. I mean, again, I would recommend it to
Yeah.
you easy.
You gotta
What-
pay attention.
What movie?
If you're
is Brad
going into it not
Pitt in?
expecting
Is
a-
he in True Romance?
Yes.
Yep.
Where he's on the couch
He's
smoking a
the
bowl out
pothead.
of the honey
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
Christian Slater calls him up. Speaking of people with iconic roles, but go ahead.
Yes.
Don't you think and condescend me, man?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brock, that was a great role Brad Pitt had in that
Yes.
movie.
Yes, it
That's
was.
a great movie.
In my opinion, both of them, Leonardo and Brad,
Leonardo as well.
Yeah.
about their best performances by both of them.
I would hang out with both of those guys. in that movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm going to argue Leo's best performance is in Django.
he's
'Cause-
good in it. Don't get me wrong,
Listen,
he's very
he-
good in it.
He had to step out, and I've read some things. He had to really do some things he
Oh, I
was
bet.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
with to play that role.
But what's eating Gilbert Grape? If you want to talk about
Very good.
ability,
Absolutely.
Very
like
good.
him and that.
No, Gilbert.
Yes.
I don't want to take a bath.
Especially being as young as he
And
was.
he-
Now, granted, he was
God, he's
already
so
an
good.
acting veteran at that time.
yeah, growing
but,
pains.
I was
Yeah.
just fixing that.
Yeah,
Pains.
but to be able to do that, or
He
you know,
did.
Rain Man, like that is talent right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, he's great. My last one, once again, there's three. I can't pick it. We knew he was going to be on my list.
Was waiting on it. We was waiting on
I
it.
knew it.
Bradley called it. He said it's
yeah.
ultimate.
Oh, I told you Dallas now. I said, you know what this is going to devolve into, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, the
and-
answer is Johnny fucking Castle.
well, Jamie Lynn Rogers, she says Patrick Swayze Ghost. I'm gonna say, not so fast, my
You
friends.
know what? And when I was discussing this at work today, that was the one that somebody mentioned. Jamie Moonham said, "What about Patrick Swayze and Ghost?"
Yeah, nope, not in Ghost. It was good in Ghost.
Yeah, but he was dead.
He was dead, but we gotta go with
That's probably Whoopi Goldberg's
Dalton,
most iconic role.
Johnny Castle or Bodie, Point Break. And I'm gonna go, and this goes against my thing, but I think Johnny to me, I remember first seeing
Most
The Outsiders.
iconic role is Johnny Castle.
Johnny Castle.
See, honestly,
far.
and I'm with Tooth on this because he dipped his toe in at the beginning. I can't rationally discuss Keanu Reeves or Patrick Swayze due to my great love for Point Break, because that is literally when I asked favorite movie of all time, it's Point Break. That's not an argument.
Yeah.
It's Point Break.
Well-
so I can't discuss those two
Speaking of
actors.
microphones,
Well,
brain.
Groovy, he
Welcome to
mentioned
SeaWorld,
Keanu, and
kid.
he said John Wick, which
He
that
is.
franchise
At this
is
It's going
now-
that. It's leading that
At
direction.
this point now, if you were to ask somebody from this generation about Keanu Reeves, they would go John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had three,
And
really.
that's a great franchise.
They're all good.
Yeah, Bill
one
and
of
Ted, then Matrix, and then John Wick. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really had. He's got three that you'd be hard to
I'm Johnny
argue.
Utah all the way with him.
But yeah, that's me. That's me. Period.
But I agree with Tooth. To me, when you think of Patrick Swayze, you think of dancing,
Yeah.
and you think of Johnny Castle. You think of Dirty Dancing. Now, my favorite character is Dalton, because Dalton's a
Hands
badass.
down.
Because Dalton could whoop all of them. Every character he's ever played, he could whoop them all. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know about that. What about the drag queen?
Ooh, two on
Two
two.
on Two.
Thanks for everything,
With
Julie
Julie
Newmar.
that's
love
Wesley.
that movie.
That's
Hey.
my favorite Wesley Snipes role.
Yes.
Hey, next to Ken, he was a pretty bad man. And I had that VHS sitting
Hey.
over there.
And
Thank
like you
too.
said earlier, The Outsiders, which
Outsiders.
also had Tom Cruise.
I'm going to blow your mind, and I know that Tooth is going to be on the same page. Still Dawn.
Still Dawn.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
You give me Mad Max, but with swords,
yeah.
I'm in all day long.
His skit with
even in
Chris
Red
Farley
Dawn.
on SNL.
Yeah.
Huh?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. I
Yeah.
was just fixed to say that. Yeah, that skit with Chris Farley's gold.
It is
Oh, the
gold.
Chippendale?
Yes.
Talk about somebody not taking himself very seriously. You talk about Tom Cruise when
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Swayze did that with Chris Farley, and
It was
he's acting all
epic.
like, "Oh my god, I don't think we're going to win," because he's dancing against Chris Farley, who's all fat and out of shape. For him to not take himself that seriously and have fun with it, to me that was
awesome.
tremendous.
It
I
was
loved
awesome.
That's why I like Saturday Night Live so much, is that they can go on there and make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
And pretend to be, it's funny.
You know they love it too. They
Oh,
have,
yeah.
they have to love it. But yeah, I couldn't decide. But Johnny Castle's definitely that's what started. I mean, that's what started him off. I think it's a superstardom, which that was an independent film, by the way. It's like the highest grossing independent film of all times was that one. So
And people were talking about John Travolta earlier, and if you want the truth, I go straight to Grease.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's.
Again, he's had
He's
had
had a
several.
lot.
He's had,
Yeah.
But like,
Pulp
That's a-
Fiction.
yeah.
I mean,
and you got to wonder. And I know we're getting to the end.
Swordfish.
What's going to what's because John Travolta's
Face
got
Off.
another one in him. I mean,
yeah.
because the guy. I mean,
he's
because
making a movie right now, bro.
well, I know he's making one, but technically, a lot of folks would say John Travolta's on another downward slide. So, what's the last great movie he's made?
well, he's
But-
made some Netflix stuff for some stuff that's not.
right.
But
But you know,
been good.
But you know, he's got another one's going to like get. We will see John Travolta back at the Oscars, back in the
I
in the
think-
mix again.
Yeah, I can see that.
He'll
the
pull
Taking
it out.
of Pelham 1, 2, 3 is the last one that I think he was really, and that wasn't that, and that was him and Denzel, and it was really
That's
good.
good. That was really good. Yeah,
It was
I
a
agree.
really good movie.
I agree. Close us down, Tooth. What's your last one there, buddy?
Oh,
Because you went last.
I'll be damned. Okay, Travis. Okay, Travis.
Tooth, okay.
I would say if I'm going to try to go big, like huge iconic role. That's hard, man. I think I about ran out.
Well, you were last. So.
I was last.
got a girl.
You know, we should do a woman. There should be an iconic womanly role. So let's see what movie I can think of would be like no other woman could have done that and it been right.
Demi Moore and
I would say-
striptease. No,
Well, I was gonna say Demi Moore and G.I. Jane.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good role for her, but I don't think that was iconic. Iconic would be Elizabeth, what's her name, in Showgirls, or Demi Moore in Striptease. I don't know, Travis. You've got me.
Oh,
I just don't know.
you were last, so I didn't know.
I just don't know.
I will touch Emmanuel Williams. Earlier, he said Burt Reynolds, he associated him with Deliverance, which is a great movie, totally different than Bandit.
I think that's Ned Beatty's most iconic role.
Sling Blade, Carl.
Carl.
That's my closer.
There you
There you
go.
go. That's
Billy
good.
Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at Billy Bob Thornton. Anything else, it's hard for me to see anybody else doing that. But it's hard for me to even see.
Him doing anything
Him.
else.
I don't see Carl and see Billy Bob Thornton when I look at Carl.
Right.
Like that was such a
Yep.
transformation.
And
for
talk
him.
about a little weird movie that just
Blew
jumped
up.
into the pop culture lexicon. I mean, simply because of Billy Bob Thornton's performance. I mean, that was
Yeah, absolutely.
Dwight Yoakam.
I'm hurting, Linda.
I'm hurting, Linda. I'm hurting.
I'm hurting.
I know.
We ain't got no
seriously.
band, Randy.
I play cards with the sheriff's brother. I play cards with the sheriff's brother every Thursday night.
J.D. Shellnut, chief of police. J.D. Shellnut.
But that was an iconic role for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
People think of Sling Blade and think of Billy Bob Thornton as Carl.
Yeah, because he been in some small stuff. He was a card dealer in Tombstone.
Back
He
at
was.
Wildcat. I'll blow you.
I felt like playing cards with my brother's kids.
You back at Quaid one more time. I'll blow you right up at Wildcat. That Wildcat's ass.
Doc, I didn't know you was in town. Johnny Tyler, you madcap.
I'm real scared, mister. Damn right you are.
Let's see here. Dwight Yoakam and Sling Blade. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we great minds think alike, Big Jerk. We was just on that. And that movie just all around. I mean, the little kid, he turned out to be. He was in Tokyo Drift.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. He's on the NCIS New Orleans. There's something else he was in I didn't know, and I watched not too long ago. Cannot remember.
Here we go. Reverting to the accent again.
Yeah. We tell you a story about Eli at the fire hall talking in the British accent for a whole 24-hour shift.
No.
Yeah, him and Matt Bendis did it one day. We've talked about it on the show before. They decided one day. So
I think he told me about that one evening when he was drunk. But,
from 7 a.m. to the next morning at 7 a.m., they were going to talk in British accent all day long. Said there were people trying to leave work early because they would not stop, just constantly. And Eli does a really good British accent.
Pretty good.
I mean, really good. He can make it last all day. I can do like 3 lines. I'm like, no, I'm tired now. I'm done. So
once you start, though, if you start and you stick with it for 5 minutes, it's hard to break it.
yeah,
Like I remember in freshman year, we were reading aloud in class, and it was some British, and I could not read the lines without throwing an accent. And I wasn't trying to throw the accent, but when I would read the lines, it was
Jeff
like,
Burnett.
I can't do this without sounding British.
Hello, governor.
So it's just how it went.
yeah, I think it was kindergarten. Somebody bet me that I couldn't talk all day in a Southern accent. I've showed them.
Well, I
And then
think
it
you won. Just in
And
case.
it rubbed off with my dad and brother, too.
Kindergarten's over.
That's what everyone thinks I talk like them. No, they talk like me.
Macaulay Culkin will always be
Kevin.
Kevin McAllister.
There you go.
Home Alone.
Yeah. 100.
Someone said this earlier, but Uma Thurman is the bride in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because that's her and Lucy Liu. Like, I just see them, swinging swords and stuff.
That's a great.
Daryl Hannah for me in Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem.
There you go.
Andrea loves that movie.
Yes, it's great.
I thought it was a great movie. I loved it.
And Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, dude. Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And I was just fixing, before we go, I was just fixing to ask you guys this. Do you think because of the success of a franchise like Marvel, are they, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is, because now he's branched off and did, Sherlock Holmes stuff, which was wonderful. Do you think those guys are pigeonholing that now? Do you think that's why some of them are kind of leaving, like Chris Evans and them?
Oh, that's a good question.
That they don't want to be
I
pigeonholed?
think the time, I'm not sure if so much it's being pigeonholed, but I think that, again, with Robert Downey Jr., a lot of those guys, the time suck. I mean, you can't do anything else. I mean, it takes, those movies are such huge movies. It's literally like a 3-year commitment to
you
make
have to
one.
dedicate your life.
Because,
Robert Downey Jr. is established enough in his career that you get typecast or set up when you're early and you break out and you did a good job at this, so now we're going to keep doing this for you.
Yeah.
He has done so much in serious capacity. Just hell, he was in Natural Born Killers. He was the news anchor, and he Tropic Thunder, the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Those are wonderful.
Charlie Bartlett. I think if anybody will go back and watch Charlie Bartlett,
That's a good movie.
It's a darn good movie, and he plays a really good role.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. is just a good actor, so I mean, he's always going to work. I mean, he made, and I foresee him being in some dramas. And they're not going to make $300 million, but he's going to be, some well-received critical, and 1 or 2 of them wind up being surprise hits.
Keith Lazarus in Tropic Thunder. I know his name. I know his name.
Yeah, and doing stuff like that.
Do you see, like Chris Evans and
Mr. Illusion.
God, what's him? Chris Hemsworth. Those guys, they done other.
And Chris Hemsworth's a good actor.
He is. He did one on that was a Netflix or Amazon movie or Apple TV.
Yes.
Where his
And he's a
son,
soldier.
where his son was.
Adam or
Something like that.
Saving Kevin or I don't
He did
remember.
Black
but yeah.
Box or not Black
Black
Box.
Hat.
Black Hat. Thank you. And I thought that was good. He was in
Cabin in the Woods.
and
That's
a great
movie.
Epic movie.
Yeah. I was just wondering. I think some of them, or most of them, because that's such an all-star cast.
Yeah.
I don't like Harrison Ford. He didn't want to be pigeonholed, or typecast as Han Solo. So he detests it. I didn't know if y'all thought that they would be along those lines. Like Liam Neeson, his character's the same, but he's awesome in every role he does. But you know what I mean? It's along that line.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Simply because, I mean, those movies, I mean, you've got every good actor out there right now. I mean, damn near every marquee actor out there has been tied in to that Marvel universe. And Christopher Reeves, he goes typecast as Superman.
Yeah.
But
best Superman ever, by the way.
I just, especially like a Robert Downey Jr. I don't see that. Robert Downey Jr. was a good actor that they got fortunate enough to be in a superhero movie. Now, some folks, if he'd have started off as Iron Man, that might have been tough.
Right.
Well, and I think that Iron Man was kind of a rebirth for Robert Downey Jr. too.
It was.
Because that's like a whole Cinderella story where,
Well, the whole deal behind that is that the guy that directed Iron Man, the guy who's Jon Favreau. Okay. The studio didn't want to make Iron Man. They were like, first of all, Iron Man is not a known name. It is not Superman. It's not Batman. It's not a big product. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this tiny budget. And Jon Favreau, you want to be a director? We'll let you direct it. And we're going to give you this much money to hire an actor. Well, you're not going to get enough money to get a Brad Pitt or whatever. So Jon Favreau said, well, all right, Robert Downey Jr., this is it. You and me, we're going to do this. And it took off. Yeah. But if they would have gotten a Brad Pitt or a George Clooney or somebody, then they would have never.
It wouldn't have took off.
If Jon Favreau wouldn't have directed it.
Tony Stark makes Robert Downey Jr. makes Iron Man, and he makes Tony Stark a memorable character.
And it showed everybody too that, wait a minute, this Robert Downey, because again, Robert Downey Jr. is he's doing a good with. If you just throw the suit on him and say, hey, dude, go do cool stuff, it ain't good. It's good because Robert Downey Jr. kills it as Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's like almost a smarmy a-hole that you almost don't like.
But almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
And you got to do that just right, because if you don't, you either come off way too likable and nobody believes that you're the rich billionaire, spoiled kid, or you become off too much of an asshole and nobody's rooting for you.
Yeah.
And he just pulls it off just perfect.
That thin line.
Well, and he does that in Holmes too, where he plays that character because you like and don't like Holmes at the exact same time, and he seamlessly, pulls that off.
Absolutely.
He's got that quippy, smart-assy, yet charming, likable.
Where you want to get mad at him, but when he says something like,
he's
you
not
son
wrong.
of a shit, yeah, you're right. Damn it.
And the thing I think about, Travis, I know we got to go, is that what the cool thing about superhero movies now is, it's not that we're making a superhero movie and we got to cast it with unknowns, because now what they're doing is, we're going to get these great proven actors, because now they're willing to be in the superhero movies.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the folks in the Avengers, I mean, you take a look at a lot, I mean, anyway, I'll shut up. But no, I think most of those guys are going to be fine.
I think so too.
Except maybe for Chris Evans, I'm honest.
It just kind of
Pretty boy, no.
Just kind of when they were talking about, I was like, let's throw this out here and see if it sticks. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Tooth, thanks for being here, man. Goodness.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bradley.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here, man. Good
Anytime.
time. Good time. Lady A, you did successful first time womaning these controls.
Yay, it's a lot.
Yeah, you womaning the other controls, but there's a lot more back there now.
It is. It's all kinds of screens and stuff.
It is. Well, you did wonderful.
You did a great job, Lady A.
All right, guys, we're going to catch y'all Thursday night. We got Alyssa Williams.
She is
Henley
excited.
Oh,
in the
excellent.
house. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey connoisseur, whiskey maker is what she is.
That is awesome. I didn't realize you were having her.
Yeah.
I said hello. That is awesome.
We'll do it, man. Yeah, we're pretty pumped about her. She's bringing some goodies, Tooth.
Oh, yeah.
I like goodies.
I already warned her that you and I were going to compete.
Okay.
Because we're the whiskey connoisseurs.
Yes.
All right, then.
Yeah, so...
And then join us next Tuesday.
I won't be that
for
much
our
competition because
favorite
you
80s
know
porn
her,
stars.
so you got her on here.
Thought I'd throw it out there.
So you'll win.
So yeah, check us out Thursday night here on Facebook Live and the Rooster 1015. We'll have a giveaway too. Forgot to have a giveaway here tonight. We got to talking too much.
We did talk too much.
But it was
But you know what? We'll keep the shirts around. Those of you who have watched tonight and pay attention for Thursday night's episode, you could win one of the 3 shirts we've hung up behind us.
That's right. There you go.
Cool.
Good job, Tooth. Look at you.
How about that?
Our Thursday.
And if you get the
giveaway.
Reservoir Dog shirt, I'm fighting you for it.
That's a good shirt. That one.
Yeah, nobody's really going to win that one. It's just the other 2. So the other 2 have not ever been worn, and Reservoir Dogs I have pictures in. Like,
Oh,
I like that shirt a lot.
that's a good shirt.
All right, we'll see you guys Thursday.
I holla.
Appreciate it, guys.